Hello and welcome back to GT Sport. So you join me tonight as we're going to be looking over a replay of one of the races I recently took part in an online lobby. It's Tokyo Expressway, East Inner Loop, and let me just say it now, for a fictional track made for the game, it is brilliant. Look at the map in the top right corner. That is probably the longest straight on the game. It's 2 miles long, that straight. So picking the right car is very important on this track, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. But anyway, we're going to get on the way. As you can see, got a decent launch off the line, went from 5th to 3rd almost instantly, as we come down now to the very first corner, and it's a hairpin. So we're going to be doing some heavy braking, trying to get our tyres, get some heat into the tyres so we can use them and get around this without any incidents. And obviously we don't. Somebody decides that they don't want to brake in time and just use me to go around the corner. So from 3rd to 8th in one corner. A bit of a theme really for myself, I think. Yeah, that ends up happening to me quite a lot, dropping down from doing really well and then having to fight my way back up. But you know what, I like it. It gives me something to aim for, makes me drive a little bit better as well, I think. So we're going to actually go back at the end and have a look at that. I never really saw it coming, so I want to see exactly what happened there. Did the guy just miss his braking zone, or did he basically just say, I'm not going to brake, I'm going to use you? We'll find out at the end. Now, it's actually the guy in front of us now who actually did hit us off then. So we're closing him down, as you can see, straight away, and something very strange is going to happen just around this corner. He completely brakes. I don't know if you saw that, his brake lights were on, and he came to a complete stop practically underneath that bridge. What was he doing? What was he doing? I have no idea. Now luckily I didn't get a penalty for that, because that would have really annoyed me. But as I come down the side, you can see he moved over to the right, and he was going to push me into that wall. I had to brake back out and get behind him. Now, sometimes in lobbies you can get dirty drivers. Is this guy a dirty driver? Or is he just being extremely defensive? I'm not sure. But yeah, there's no real need to be doing stuff like that, especially when there's 10 laps to go. Now, this straight we're on, 2 miles long, this straight. When you're in these cars, like the Mustang here now, very, very fast car, but I can't use its power. I'm actually in fuel map 3 right here. I can't use all the power, because as we go across the line to start the second lap, look at my fuel in the bottom left. I've already used 1/4 of a tank of fuel on the first lap, which means over the course of 10 laps I'm going to have to pit twice, and that is something I really don't want to do. Really don't want to do it at all. As we come now to the hairpin, we all went round on lap 1 with the guy who hit us off, and we're just going to get ahead of him and then get a decent exit there and get away, get a bit of a distance. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't really want to be hanging around near that guy anymore, as he's already taken me out once and tried for a second time as well. So as I was saying, I can't really use the power of the Mustang to its full capacity. I'm in fuel map 3 pretty much all of this race, to be honest. Sometimes even fuel map 4. Simply because it's such a big track. It's 4.4 miles long, which is like 7.1 kilometers, depending on where you're from. It's a massive track, and it will drink your fuel. So I've really got to watch my fuel as we go around here, because I don't want to be doing 2 pit stops, because the pit stops lately, since the latest update, they take forever. Don't know why they've done it. They take absolutely ages to do 1 pit stop. So I want to try and get this done in 1 stop. Now you can see there, I've managed my fuel a lot better on the second lap, jumping up to fuel map 3. The first lap I think I might have been in fuel map 1. So it was like from lap 2 the end I was in fuel map 3, sometimes 4. But catching up now to the Nissan, the guy in 6th. Now in a straight line, the Nissan in front of us and the Mustang are actually very, very closely top 10 out. The top end is very close on both of them. I'm not entirely sure which is the quickest. He is pulling away a little bit there, but he might not be in fuel map 3. I was. But that's fine. I don't mind. I need to save fuel, and I'm just going to sit there now in his slipstream, let him use as much fuel as he can, which will help us out, because we'll use less because we're in his slipstream, and then when he stops, he's going to be stopped for longer. So this is actually working out well for me. I can stay in fuel map 3 and still doing over 170 miles an hour. You can't pull away because of it. So it works out perfectly fine for us. Now, as we come down to the hairpin again, turn number 1, braking very hard. Just going to try and outbrake the guy as we come around, and we get a decent entry to that corner, and it does look like he just hit a ball hard, and he's hit another one there. He spun out, and that is going to give us a much more breathing room now as we can fix our eyes on the guys up ahead. Now, there's a bit of a cluster, which is always good. Clusters mean slower racing because you can't race fast when you're in a cluster because you have to defend. I've got nothing to defend against. I can get the pedal to the metal and set some decent speed, set some decent times, hopefully, and catch up to the guys ahead. Now, unfortunately for me, this part of the track, basically everything that isn't the straight, is not designed whatsoever for a Mustang. This is a very, very fast, narrow, slippy track, and especially when you got tyre wear on as well. And you can see it just clipping the wall there. It's so hard to tame a Mustang around it. They're renowned for not turning very well. Obviously, Mustangs are renowned for that, and it is kind of true in the game. And they don't do all that well in corners. Straight, yes. Corners, no. So it's a toss-up with this track. What do you go for? I went for the Mustang. So fast in a straight line. Tapping the wall again. No, I don't know what's going on with me now. But so fast in a straight line that I can catch anyone on the straight. The trick is then staying ahead of them or staying right behind them through the corners so that I can use the top end speed on the straight. Now, a lot of the people in this lobby were using better handling cars, not top end speed. So it's going to be an interesting race, should I say, to see how this unfolds, because it's going to be a case of flat out speed versus handling. And who doesn't like a race when it's like that? So as you can see now, we're catching up to the group ahead. I've managed to close that gap down quite a lot coming down that straight. Again, brute force speed of this car. All I've got to do now is try and keep it under control as we come around the hairpin one more time. Doing a decent job though. I thought I carried a lot more speed than I did the first couple of laps. It's going purple, so yeah, definitely doing something right. Now I've got my eyes set on the guys ahead. They're right there now. I can see them. I can almost hear them at this point. I really can. And I just want to get up and get behind them so I can do something on the straight. Now, coming through all these bends now, I've got to be careful. One, you can see my tyres. They've started to go. Not too bad, but they have started to go, which means I have to slow down a little bit. You'll notice that actually going through some of these corners, I am lifting a little bit more than I would do, simply because I don't want to use too much of the tread of the tyres and still need some, because I don't want to hit at the end of this lap. Some people will. I want to see if I can at least do half the race, so 5 laps on one tank. And looking at it, that is doable. I've got a quarter of a tank left to go to do just over a lap. Now that's what I want to do. Don't want to pit. And in not pitting, if the guys ahead of me, who I'm assuming are going to pit, do pit, that will basically let me leapfrog them in the pits. And if I can get a big enough gap, I can then pit and they won't be able to catch up. But that's the plan. Will it work? Not quite sure. We will find out as we come down into the tunnels one more time at the end of lap 4. So you can see the guys in ahead of us got, 5th to 3rd, all peeling off into pits. That's going to not relegate us, that's going to promote us up into 3rd place as we come past the pits and out at the end of the tunnel. Coming down now again to the hairpin at turn 1 and 2. And the guys in 1st and 2nd, there is a bit of a gap. There is a bit of a gap there. Now they've not pitted, so they will have to pit, I'm assuming, unless they fuel save like crazy, but I don't think they have. They'll have to pit this lap surely. Now, going purple, again, that's good. How am I doing that though? My tyres are going, so I've not got as much grip. But why am I going purple? Well, the answer is I've got a lot less weight in the car now. I've used that much fuel, there's a lot less weight. And that is why I'm so much quicker down the straight, even though I've got less grip through the corners, which, as you can see there, I just hit the wall. Because I've got less grip in the corners, I have to basically lift, and that's going to slow me down. Now you saw that I was red by 1.2 seconds, so I'm down by 1.2 seconds throughout this sector because of the grip. Doesn't matter how fast I am on the straight, the grip's what's going to get me. So now I'm going to hit the wall again and see the grip just really starting to show. Now it's worn. And the fuel, look at the fuel, it's screaming at me. I need fuel, refuel. And I've just got to nurse this car home to the pits. Have a quick glance up at the map. You'll see near the top right corner. Look at the guys behind. That is a good gap between third and fourth. Is it enough? Is it enough so I can get in these pits, get tyres and fill the tank? I've got to fill the tank, which takes time. Is it enough to be able to get back out ahead of the guys chasing us down? We will find out. Now, I'm going to go into the pits here, and when we go into the pits, we're just going to jump to another car. And the reason is, I want to show you another racer. It's the guy here in fifth, Dean. Now, I've raced with this guy a few times, and he's a very, very fast, very clean, very good driver. Very good driver. And when I saw him in this lobby, and this actually turned out to be his lobby, I believe, I thought I have to race. I have to race. It's always good. Here we go. Now, what's good about Dean is he'll work with you. He actually will. He won't just think, oh, I need to get past. He will work with you if it's advantageous to him. As he goes past the pits, there he is ahead. We're coming out now. So the pit stop took longer than I thought. We're going to drop down now a few positions actually, and we might lose out one more position by the end of this straight because obviously I'm not at full speed now. The guy hunting me down looks like he's going to come past. There he is. We are now down into 6th. So we went from 8th to 3rd, now in 6th, as we're doing a better job than that guy going around the hairpin. Going to go up into 5th place. Hopefully we can hold him off here as we go around these corners. It looks like we're going to. So we're now in 5th place, looking to hunt down the top 4 runners. Now, I was mentioning Dean there. I was saying he will work with you if it's advantageous, and you'll see exactly what I mean by that in the oncoming laps. We actually end up working together, which, if you can find somebody who is a good racer and is willing to work with you, do it, and you'll see why that is so advantageous as the rest of this race unfolds. I'm not going to say what happens. You're going to have to stick around and watch it, I'm afraid. But you will see just how advantageous it is to actually get someone who is a decent driver who will work with you. So we're on lap 6 now. So after this lap, we'll have 4 to go. Now we know we can do half the race on a full tank. We know that. But I've still got to be cautious. I don't want to drive too quick. So I'm still in fuel map 3 here. Still in fuel map 3, but as you can see, I'm actually still catching the Alpha? Yeah, the Alpha 4C ahead of us. And that's simply because, even though I'm in fuel map 3, this car's still very quick. Now, you just seen I've bumped the Alpha there. Now, that wasn't me trying to do anything dirty. That's bump drafting. I'm trying to boost his speed because I'm faster than him. Now, if I can get him to go faster by bumping him along, in turn, because I'm in his toe, I will then go faster. And I'll also save fuel because I'm in his toe. So it's a win-win. This is what I was talking about, advantageous. We are now going to, between us, catch the guys ahead. And as you can see, that gap to the guys in 3rd and 2nd is very quickly closing. Simply because we worked as a team going down that straight. Now, braking very, very hard though, as we don't want to touch each other going into this corner. We don't want to collide, as that will just be absolutely devastating. It already happened on lap 1. I don't want to go through all that again. So I'm just going to back out a little bit, give him some breathing space, and hopefully use the momentum down the straight to get back past him. I know that means playing the long game here, but this car will not be as good through the corners as the guys up ahead. So all I'm going to try and do is keep up enough to use the straight line speed and hopefully get some momentum going down the straight. Now, the gap between 5th myself and 1st, as you can see on the map, that is a big gap. However, the gap between 5th, 4th and 3rd, as you can just see there, Dean, who is in 3rd, is now getting very close indeed, and it looks like we may all end up working together. And if we do end up working together, what will be the outcome? I wonder. Drop us a comment, let us know what you think. Will we work together? Does 3 cars work together? Can you do a 3-car train? I'm not sure. Let's see how we get on. As the Alpha goes into the wall and comes back across, I've had to brake there, just touch the wall because I thought he was going to drive into me there, but luckily he didn't. Now you saw there, and I'm going to bring this out, Dean slowed down and I ended up going to the back of him. Now, it wasn't an intentional move, and I flashed my lights there, not out of anger. I'll explain that as well in a minute. But Dean slowed down. I think it's very important to know why. He accidentally hit the guy in the Alpha, and he put him into the wall. So Dean, being a very good, very fair driver, as I mentioned, slowed down and gave that position back. That is exactly what needs to be done, and he did it perfectly. Why did I flash my lights? Because I wanted him to know that I'm going to help him. And you can see here, 3-car train down the straight, all of us giving each other a bump, and hopefully closing down the gap for the guy in second. And that's why I flashed my lights. I wanted him to know I wasn't going to go and try and overtake. I wanted to work with him. He understood, and he in then turn worked with the guy ahead of him. And all 3 of us, as you saw, a train down the straight. And I think that's actually the first time I've ever done it in a train of 3. I've done it with 1 car before, done that quite a lot, but never done it with 2 cars. So yeah, definitely a new experience there for me. Now, as you can see, braking hard there. I don't want to go into the back of any of these here now, because if I go into the back of these and they go into the wall, 1, I could end up with a penalty. 2, I could ruin their race, and that would do my head in. Now, I don't want to ruin anyone's race. Now, if I did by accident touch one of them and made them drop a position, then I would do exactly what Dean did. I'd slow down and give that position back. Now, I'm not doing a very tidy job through there, as you can see. I'm at this moment trying too hard, I actually think, just to keep up through these bends. I don't need to do that. The straight line speed of this car will help, but I'm trying a little bit too hard, and that's making me make several errors, and I don't want to be doing that. Now, I'm going to tuck in right behind Dean here now, as we're going to come around the last bend onto the very, very long straight one more time. At the end now of lap 8. So there's only 2 laps to go. 2 laps. So it's now I need to start thinking about making a move. Now, do I stay behind Dean here? Do I go for it? What should I do? Now, this car in a straight line is fastest of the 3. We're still in fuel map 3, as you can see. I'm not in anyone's toe, and yet I'm still actually overtaking. And it looks like I'm going to be able to get past the Alpha as well. Now, I don't know what fuel map the Alpha or Dean was in. They may well have been in fuel map 3 or lower. I don't know. All I can tell you is I was in fuel map 3, and I was still quicker in a straight line. But is that the best thing to do? Now, the reason I've gone for the move early is simply because I've got the grip. As you can see, they're doing a nice, tidy, tight job through the hairpin there. I've got the grip. Now, I wanted to get ahead and make more of a gap whilst I have the grip to do so. I don't want to leave it to the very last lap where I'm running out of grip, still then trying to make a move on the cars. I want to try and get ahead enough so I can pull away. Now, it's all going to come down to a couple of factors now over these last laps. 1, grip. Now, I pitted at the end of lap 5. The guys behind me, I believe, pitted at the end of lap 4. So they actually have slightly more worn, or should have slightly more worn tyres than me, which means I should have more grip. But as we discussed earlier, this car is not exactly designed to go around corners as quick as, say, the Porsche. And you can see how quick Dean is in that Porsche through these corners. I cannot break away. That Porsche is so good in the corners. I've got to do it on the straight, and that's why I went for the move, because I had the grip to do so. And hopefully that will work out. We will see as the last lap unfolds now, as we're going to come around onto the long straight one more time, the end of lap 9, to start the final lap. Now, Dean is right behind me. The guy behind Dean in fifth, he's fallen far behind. Now, what me and Dean are doing here, as you can see, we're still working together. Dean's not going for a move. He's actually sitting in the slipstream, giving me a little bit of a bump like I did him, and between us we're pulling away from the guy behind, which is really interesting because the guy behind, if he was to be able to catch up, that car is very, very good through the corners, much like the Porsche. and that would put Dean and myself under a lot more pressure. So working together, pulling away from that guy, gives us a little bit of a cushion, and that's what we want. Now you saw that I jumped to and from myself and Dean, and I just basically did that for the better camera angles. So here we go, round the hairpin, Dean getting the undercut there, doing a very good job, but will he be able to outpace the Mustang as we come up now to start the very windy part of the track? I am just ahead at this point. Dean does have the inside line. And again, look at this, side by side, no one crashing into each other. Very, very clean, fast, very good driving from both of us, I believe, here as well. And this is it, the final lap. What is going to happen? Now that Porsche, unfortunately my plan didn't work because that Porsche is now ahead. Going through the sector where he will dominate, and I don't have the luxury to not try. I've got to push, and it's not going to go well. You can see here, just grazing the wall as that does, and again, now look at the gap open up. Simply because I just touched the wall. Look at that gap now. It's massive. My plan has not worked. Not properly. Not as much as I want. I mean, we're still in fourth, and potentially we could go up again if we can catch on the home straight. But I have one issue. I'm stuck in fuel map 3. I cannot afford to go any faster. Look at the fuel. It is screaming once again. So it looks like we're going to be coming home in 4th place. But if you ask me, we started in 5th, we're finishing in 4th. Yes, it's not a brilliant race, but don't forget, on the first corner, in the first lap, I ended up getting shunted off and going down to 8th. So I think catching back up, working as a team has worked well, and we've got what I think are a good finish. Now we're just going to jump back and have a look at what happened here with Dean, because he was in 3rd. I think he actually managed to get past the Aston Martin here. Is it an Aston Martin? Yeah, I think it is. As you can see, someone's ghosted there. They've run out of fuel, and look at that. He's just got enough fuel. Look at his fuel. He's got nothing left. I think he's going to run out as he crosses the line. Unbelievable. If this guy's on Twitch as well, by the way, so big shout out to him. Search for him on Twitch using the same code as his name there. He races quite often. Very good, clean racer. Absolutely, give him a watch. Now I have to go back and look. Did you leave a comment? Was this intentional or not? Let's have a look. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. I don't think it was. I don't think it was intentional. I think he missed his braking zone, basically. That's what I think. But if you ask me, should he have slowed down and give the position back? I would have done. What would you have done? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for joining us this week. And from all of us here at GT Sports Mates, we'll see you next time.